The river had never looked dangerous before. It curved quietly along the edge of the company's retreat center, reflecting the late afternoon sky like polished glass. The team had been laughing only minutes earlier, corporate smiles, polite applause, forced relaxation. Daniel had stayed near the back, as he always did. A single father didn't quite fit into executive team-building games. Then someone screamed. He saw her slip. Elena Vale. His boss, the CEO everyone feared and admired in equal measure, had stepped too close to the moss-slick stones. One moment she was answering a question, confident and composed in her tailored white blouse and navy trousers. The next, her heel lost balance, and the river swallowed her in a violent splash. The current was stronger than it looked. Before anyone else reacted, Daniel was already running. He didn't think about consequences. He didn't think about hierarchy. He didn't think about how ridiculous it might look for a mid-level project manager to leap fully clothed into a river after the most powerful woman in the company. He only thought about his 8-year-old daughter, Mia. About how he would want someone to jump without hesitation if she were drowning. The water was ice-cold, stealing his breath as he fought the current. Elena surfaced once, gasping, panic shattering her usual calm authority. "I can't." She choked before the river pulled her sideways. Daniel reached her just as she began to slip under again. He grabbed her arm firmly. "Hold on to me," he shouted. She did. Her fingers dug into his shoulders, not elegantly, not like a CEO, just like a frightened human being. The current tugged at them, dragging them toward deeper water, but Daniel planted his feet against a submerged rock and angled his body sideways, using the force instead of fighting it head-on. It felt endless. But eventually, with sheer stubbornness and burning lungs, he maneuvered them toward the bank where others were now reaching out. Hands pulled them up. Elena collapsed onto the grass, coughing, soaked, trembling. Daniel knelt beside her, chest heaving, water dripping from his sleeves. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she looked at him. Not like a boss. Not like someone evaluating performance. Just, looking. "You jumped without thinking," she said softly. "You were drowning," he replied. Later, after paramedics confirmed she was fine and most employees were escorted back to the lodge, the evening grew quiet. The sky darkened into deep blue, and a chill settled over the grounds. Daniel stood near the bonfire, wringing water from his jacket. He was already thinking about calling a taxi back home. Mia would be waiting for him, probably pretending to stay awake. "Daniel." He turned. Elena stood a few steps away. She had changed into a simple gray sweater and borrowed sweatpants from the retreat staff. Her hair, usually sleek and controlled, fell loosely around her shoulders. She looked younger. Smaller. "Walk with me," she said. It wasn't a request. They moved toward the quieter edge of the property, away from curious eyes and corporate whispers. "I owe you my life," she began. "You don't owe me anything," he said quickly. "Anyone would have." No, she stopped walking. They wouldn't. The air between them felt different now. Not charged, exactly. Just honest. "You didn't hesitate," she continued. "Why?" Daniel shrugged lightly. "I'm a father." "You don't wait when someone's in danger." Something flickered in her expression at that. A softness. "I forget sometimes," she admitted. "What immediate loyalty feels like. In my world, people calculate." "I don't calculate," he said. "I noticed." They reached a small wooden dock that stretched slightly over the calmer part of the river. The same river that had nearly taken her. Elena stepped onto it carefully. "I almost died," she said quietly. "And the strangest thought crossed my mind while I was under." Daniel watched her. "I realized how lonely I am." He didn't respond immediately. She turned toward him, studying his face in the dim light. "Daniel, will you stay if I undress?" The question hung in the air. It wasn't seductive. It wasn't playful. It sounded vulnerable. He frowned slightly, not offended, just trying to understand. Elena. My clothes are still damp underneath, she clarified, her voice steadier now. I hate feeling trapped in them. I don't mean anything inappropriate. I just don't want to be alone tonight. Ah. Not a proposition. A confession. Daniel stepped closer, but kept a respectful distance. You're not alone, he said calmly. But if you're asking whether I'll stay because you need someone to make sure you're okay, yes. If you're asking whether I'll stay because something happened in that river that blurred boundaries. He shook his head gently. I won't cross lines. Not tonight. Not like this. Elena held his gaze. Most men in his position might have seen opportunity. She was powerful, striking, emotionally shaken. But Daniel wasn't most men. You really are different, she murmured. No, he said quietly. I just know what matters. She exhaled, tension easing from her shoulders. Tell me about your daughter. And so he did. He told her about Mia's obsession with drawing horses. About how she insists on making pancakes shaped like animals on Saturdays. About the nights he falls asleep on the couch because she wants just one more story. Elena listened like it was the most important presentation of her career. When she finally slipped off her damp sweater and wrapped herself in a blanket she'd brought, there was no awkwardness. No suggestion. Just two adults sitting side by side on a dock, facing the river that had changed something between them. You didn't stay because I'm your boss, she said after a while.